I'm recording this because this could be the last thing I'll ever say. The city I once knew as home is teetering on the edge of radioactive oblivion. A 300,000 degree baptism by nuclear fire. I'm not sorry. We had it coming. A surge of white-hot atonement will be our wake-up call. Hope for our future is now a stillborn dream. The bombs begin to fall and I'm rushing to meet my love. Please remember me. There is no more.
I feel alive. Don't tell the boys that you've been crying in my arms. Yeah, I believe it's sharing season for the feelings in our hearts. Come on now, sign the dotted line. Go ahead, join my little cult. We'll talk about how childhood traumas guide our actions as adults. Slam the bottle on the counter, take this thing down shot for shot. You know I've made a lot of best friends. You're the best friend that I've got. Now we're howling at the moon. Hell yeah, we're making lots of noise. You know I hate to say I love you, but there ain't no other choice. Don't tell the boys. Fucking dies in no time. Some more like Ryan, you're a little more like Seth. You're so quick-witted when we talk about what happens after death. Heard your brother's in the desert. He's been fighting for our freedom. He's been chasing nameless faces ever since he finished rehab. Can we support the individual without support the whole damn complex? It's either shooting guns or heroin. At least one of them paid for college. Oh shit. Don't tell the boys. Don't tell the boys that we just had our little talk. You know, in tougher times, just guys decide we'd rather walk the walk. I'll always be a lending ear. I'll be your elephant best friend. Don't tell the boys we've got each other, and I'll love you till the end.
Welcome to the show. Good morning. Today is April 11th, 2026. And if you can believe it, we've got a morning show once again. The artist we just listened to, the one we just got done listening to is a band or an artist called Petey. I think they're a band, but the main guy's name is Petey. I found him on Instagram. He did he does these like comedy sketches where he just very weird filming and editing of him playing multiple characters, and yeah, it's just very avant-garde comedy. And he's also got his own band there that we just heard. The song is called Don't Tell the Boys. And before that, we had a song by the band Gunship called Tech Noir, taken from the name of the bar from the first Terminator film, 1984's Terminator. They visit a bar. Kyle Reese, I think, is the character's name, and he meets with Sarah Connor at this bar, and the bar is called Tech Noir. And that's the name of that song. And then, of course, our intro song by Kaleido, a song called Hanging Lanterns. Thank you guys for joining. Thanks for being here. How we doing? How's everybody doing today? It is a solo excursion. Reed is out with a bit of a poor eyesight. He has to recover his eyesight and rest today. So it's just me and our special guest who will be showing up in, I don't think we got about 20 minutes. Then I'll have to get the whole, I'll have to organize. By the way, I just watched a clip. I've been practicing my filmmaking, trying to improve the production quality on what I've been doing on the YouTube channel. And this video told me not to look at myself while I talk. So I just had to move myself off the screen to practice talking without seeing myself. And yeah, so I figured, for this morning while we wait for our guest, I would, share a little bit of I would just talk a little bit about the meditative state of awareness. And our guest today is Shay Cuyino, author of a book called This Glorious Dance. And we'll talk a little bit more about, how he experiences his own way of consciousness. But for now, what I'd like to do is, I think this might actually be better if I look at myself here. Yeah. I think what I'd like to do now is just talk about what the meditative state is. And, in a lot of different, if you show up to like a meditation class or a yoga class, or you show up at an ashram, or you click a guided YouTube video, these things will say stuff like, focus on your breath, allow yourself to relax, allow yourself to watch thoughts as they occur, allow yourself to witness your body breathing. And these are all great things to begin onboarding into the meditative state, because you're transitioning from a practical way of being and interfacing with the world as a character and as a person into the subjective experience of what's occurring within your own mind and your own body. Most of the time throughout the day, we're kind of like pinballs, I would say, bouncing to and from people, talking about things, getting things, picking things up, moving things around. We're interacting with our environment. In the meditative state, you move your active consciousness into the awareness of whatever it is that's occurring. So you transition from, right now you may be listening to my voice or looking at my hands move. You position yourself and move yourself into the seeing of that, the witnessing of that. And that's basically the onboard ramp into a meditative state. So once you're there, and I think this is where people get in a lot of trouble, is they're there and then they start noticing their thinking, and they start noticing that they're uncomfortable, or they'll notice something in their body, or they'll notice something internally, and then they'll try to move it around or adjust it or engage with it. And the key to a meditative state, I'm going to take a sip of coffee before I give you the key. The key to the meditative state is not messing with anything. The key to the meditative state is allowing yourself to see from the space of awareness that everything is just a happening. So the thoughts, the sounds, the movement of your body, the exhale and inhale of your own breath, noticing that everything is just occurring. It's just all just an expression or a happening. Even the thing that's witnessing whatever it is you're hearing right now. Even the thing that's moving its attention to whatever appeared in your own mind or whatever word I just said, all of it is just a happening. And that's essentially the meditative state. You start to see sounds for what they are, as sounds. You start to hear my voice for what it is, as a voice. And you try not to label it. Try not to define it. Try not to tell yourself what it is or what I'm trying to say or what you should be doing or shouldn't be doing. You really just want to allow and see and hear whatever it is that's occurring. And that's the meditative state. That's it. Beginning stage. Like that's, if you practice that and you can remember to return to that, you're actively practicing meditation. The best part about this is you don't need to be anywhere special. You don't need to do anything special. You can be standing in line at the grocery store. You can be driving your car. You can be working at a warehouse like me, venting tire molds and sewing. You could be even in an argument with your spouse and you could be in a meditative state. I don't actually advise that. I've since, that used to be my go-to response when things were going awry in my physical environment. Apparently, this is a form of avoidance, by the way, of me just going into a meditative state along the course of a discourse. So I've since been practicing bringing my character into challenging interpersonal experiences in the realm of relationship and business, which is something I kind of wanted to touch on a little bit is, on this channel, my interest is really diving into the esoteric, meditative being, states of being and insight. Most of the stuff that I'm interested in talking about doesn't really apply to a practical way or a practical mode of being in the world, in the sense that I don't find myself taking into account, how do I say this? What is of interest to me is the internal experience of oneself. And it's something that's personal. It's something that's intimate to you. It's intimate to your state of being, and it might not necessarily apply in the realm of navigating a world with responsibilities and other things. So, we had a guest on earlier this week, Dr. Michael Damian, and it was great to have him on because his expertise is that realm of like how to integrate one's psychological state with the actual world, like with society and your life and building and growing things practically. This what I like to talk about is stuff that necessarily isn't helpful in any of those realms or fields of exploration or discovery. It could be, but I guess it's just more of a interpersonal thing or an introspective thing for me. But Bird Baines, good morning. How are you today? I just got done talking about how to enter the meditative state, and then I started talking about the difference between a practical way of being and whatever we talk about here on the show. No collab today, Bird. Reed is out. He needs rest. His eyes have been strained. I think he's been working on his YouTube channel all week, so he needed to take the morning off. We do have a guest coming on in about 15 minutes. Shay. Let me pronounce his last name. I'm going to get his last name correct here. Cuyino. He's the author of a book called This Glorious Dance, Thoughts and Contemplations About Who We Are. and he'll be coming on in about 15 minutes. So until then, we're just hanging, and I was just talking about what it's like to talk about when you're talking. What's going on your end? How are you doing? Oh, China trip. What are you seeing? What are you thinking? What's I guess the question I'm curious about is what inspired you to go to China? That's one of the places I want to visit at some point. I got to visit the temple where they shot the final scene of Mortal Kombat in Thailand. That was awesome. Oh, family trip. Nice. You see some pandas, see hopefully some dojos. I think the Shaolin temples in China. Your parents want to visit some provinces. Cool. Very sweet. What was your week like this week? Did anything come up for you this week? Anything interesting or challenging? Oh yeah, the fuel price with the planes is probably a toggle these days. I'm terrified of flying, or I used to be terrified of flying. What did I do? Last year I did, I think, 27 hours of flying in one trip over a period of, I guess 2 days. And I got used to it. I've gotten better and better at flying, but it used to be like I would just have straight up panic attacks every, 15 minutes. Anytime I started thinking about the fact that we were in a metal cylinder falling through space, I would just have panic attacks. Your grandparents' tomb? Really? Tell me about your grandparents' tomb. What were they? Where was that? It's rare that I see the word tomb. You said tomb, and I'm like, oh man, your grandparents must have been epic, dude. Like they must have been pretty special. Not a oh, tombstone. Okay, yeah. I like tomb. What inspired you to visit? That's one of the things that when my son asks, he's like kind of fascinated with death and dying. So he'll talk about people that have passed, like his grandfather. And yeah, that was Melissa has a hard time talking to him about that. She's just like, but I've always had to. It's hard to figure out how to communicate to a child the idea of death. So it's an annual thing. We pay our respects each year for remembrance. Oh, very nice. That's awesome. What about me? Well, I was at my grandfather's funeral last year. I think about him a lot. I think about both my grandparents a lot. And yeah, I act as if they're here. Honestly, when the thought of them comes to mind, and when I, yeah, I don't think they've really gone anywhere. When I think of them, I can sense them, but yeah, I just it's not like they're sitting on my shoulders or anything, but their energy, their essence is it's there. I don't really have a you have a perspective about it. Tell me your perspective. Yeah, I don't know how whether or not what I experience is true or not. It feels true. It's like, oh, there's their body and their personalities. Dude, it's just like if like my Bubby, my grandma's still alive. She's in Florida. And she's not here in my like actual physical reality, like in my space, but like she is. I'm thinking about her, I'm feeling about her, I'm talking about her. She is here right now. So I mean I could pick up and call her, but there's no need to. That's how I feel about grandparents, how I feel about friends, people that I interact with, or that I even people that I read, like authors that have passed away. I don't think they've gone anywhere. Even evil people like Hitler or Stalin, it's like that energy was and is, if we're activating it through our consciousness, like, but the mind or the person has the ability to shape it in some way, or I don't know if we actually have the free will to do that, but it is something that can be done. Okay, your perspective. This is cool. My culture practices ancestral remembrance. I think we concoct a simulated personality in our minds, and we speak to them by imagining how their personality would respond. In a way, this simulated personality stays with us. Beautiful. Yes, that's what I think. That's what I think it is, or that's what I think is super helpful. And I have a story too. I was in this experiential therapy group. At the time, I was working in the mental health field, and I was with this teacher. And we did this exercise in the group where they put 2 chairs in the center of the room, and there was like a big pile of clothes and articles of clothing. And what we were supposed to do is we were supposed to go pick out an article of clothing and put it on the chair, and then sit in the other chair and have a conversation with somebody that we had lost in our lives, somebody who had passed on. And that's what the whole group did. There was tons of tears, tons of feelings, and say the thing that you wish you could say to that person. Basically, doing what you just described. Yeah, they turned it into a modality of therapy for people to. I think depending on the types of people and the struggles they're going through, a lot of it might be, might even be with people that are still alive. Learning how to speak your truth or stand up for yourself in some way, and actually feel what it would be like to communicate with someone who may take up a lot of space in your own mind and your own heart. It's less mysterious when I explain it like that, but it's more or less how it is. No, I mean, that's the thing. I don't think any of this stuff needs to be mysterious. Just existence itself is ultimately mysterious by nature of itself. So doing things like this makes total sense. I mean, this is the other, like, you talk to authors who write books or fiction books, they'll literally tell you the characters are deciding what to do while they write their books. Like, they're not, like, they'll sit down and be like, okay, what's Harry Potter going to do? Or like, what's Piggy from Lord of the Flies going to do? They don't actually know what these characters are going to do. And I would actually propose that you don't actually know what you're going to do. And I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, each day I wake up and I have to rediscover who or what this character is. It's almost like life itself is the author, and all of us are playing characters and roles through this drama of life. I lost a close friend of many years 2 years ago, but I always imagined him frowning when I did stuff he hated, like whining about nonsensical stuff, or making a bad decision and him berating me. Almost like a ghost, per se. Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if it makes me think about like exorcisms and spirits. You know, people that feel like they've been commandeered by spirits. And then it makes me wonder, like, what if somebody had like what you just described, but they don't want that person continuing to comment on their life? Like, what would happen if you were like, bro, dude, let me whine about my nonsensical stuff? But like what you're just saying, like simulated personality, and you could imagine speaking to him, and I'm sure that or maybe he would respond. Maybe you could have a full conversation with him. I need to get ready here because Shay's going to be on any second. Let me pull up the, I'm going to have to do some, let me share my screen here so it's not as awkward as I set this up, because I got to figure it out. Oh, he's here. Nice. Hello. Okay, why can't I? All right, I gotta adjust this. All right, so it's gonna take me a second to fix this up because I'm streaming and it's using my camera and my mic here. So hold on one sec. Hey, can you hear me? Can't hear me yet. Okay. Yes, I do hear you. Let me log out and log in here. Hello. Yes, can you hear me? Great. Good morning, dude. We're already live, so I'm gonna set this up while we're talking. Good morning. How are you? What do you like to do for your morning? What do you like to do when you wake up?
I do anything per se. Every day sometimes gets very different. Up and roll into my job.
What's your job?
Oh, for my day job, I'm an agile coach.
Did you say agile?
Yeah.
The programming language?
No, but I work with software developers and executives.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Is it mostly computer from home, remote?
Mostly remote. It's coaching teams to deliver effectively and organizations to also deliver faster.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I designed an app a few years ago called Shared Space, and I had to learn how to work in Jira and do development management and all that.
Yeah. So Jira is one of the most popular app for running agile projects.
Nice. You got any plans this weekend?
They're very loose plans. A number of friends want to hang out. After this, I'm probably going to decide on what to do. You said you developed an app. Do you write software?
No. I designed it. Like I came up with the concept, and then I did like the minimum viable product. I built it through. So I basically drew it all out, and then I took pictures of it, and then I put it in an app that allowed you to simulate the user experience, the UI.
Like Figma.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So once I had the product, I started presenting it at different conferences, and then I eventually was able to raise some money and get a team to design it or build it. I mean, build it.
Okay. That's interesting. So what does the software do?
Well, it was designed. I designed it as a way to be like a. So if you go to an AA meeting or a 12-step meeting,
Yeah.
people will share. They'll check in and share about what the topic is.
Okay.
So I basically wanted to create a social media that would allow people to check in and share what they were feeling or thinking anytime throughout the day without judgment.
Okay.
So it was an audio based application.
Okay. Yeah, I used to be a software developer before being an agile coach.
Have you ever actually I think I've got a set up here. Do you see the screen that I'm working on? Like, can you see the stream right now?
No, I just see your face.
Okay. I'm going to record on the Google Meet just to make sure we have a backup here, but I'm also setting it up since we are live right now.
Okay.
So everybody can see us and it looks reasonably okay. Just takes a couple seconds here.
Alrighty.
Oh yeah, Bird is here. Bird says the frame looks okay. All right, that's good. Two of us are here. There's you. Let me make you a little more prominent. Move this one over here. There, I think that looks okay. Are we in frame? That's the real question. Yep, that looks okay. This looks okay. I think we're good. All right, let me press this record button just so we have a backup.
Alrighty.
Okay, welcome to the show. Welcome to Inside the Mind's Eye. And I just screwed up the frames, didn't I? My bad. I fixed it though. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you. I would like to just do a quick introduction for you, and then we can get started. My guest today is an author and his name is Shay Cuyino. He's the author of This Glorious Dance: Thoughts and Contemplations About Who We Are. And today I was hoping to sit down with you. We met each other through TikTok, and I wanted to sit down and because I watched your channel and I was watching your videos, and you've definitely had a very profound experience. And not only that, but you're sharing about it actively on the channel. And I was hoping maybe we could talk a little bit about what happened with you and then go into your story, just what your life was like and how you live today.
Yeah, excited. I want to start by saying, well, I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to to talk to you, Adam, and hopefully we can have really interesting interactions here. I like to start with a caveat here. Depending on where we go in this conversation, I just want to throw this out here. First of all, I can't even remember things that I put on my TikTok anymore. I probably have a different perspective on some of the things that I had there. I've just not even been bothered to go back to to scrub or to listen again. But I'll say this: whatever comes out of this conversation, I want to say that I do not hold any of the things that we say here seriously. I do not hold any faith tradition, even though some of my language, it's likely some of the language that my utterances may come from the Christian faith tradition. I do not claim to know anything about truth. As a matter of fact, if the way I see the subject of truth. It's like if we had a can here and somebody was we're all talking about truth as the can. I see it as, yes, we can talk about truth as the can, but what exactly is perceiving truth? That is also part of truth. So all of this and all of this is what I would say seems to be that. So I do not hold any claim, and even this perspective may just be utter and total nonsense tomorrow. So so
Great.
yeah.
Well, you're speaking my language, because before you came on, I was kind of doing a guided meditation of helping, like I was just describing the meditative state where everything is just a happening. There's no one claiming anything. We may or may not know what the heck we're talking about. It's all entertainment.
At this point, yes, it's clear to see. Yeah.
So yeah, let's the video that jumped out at me. I guess maybe let's start. What happened? What was your life like? Yeah, let's start with what happened. Did you have a moment of insight where you were able to see beyond the person? It sounds like you understand the difference between, or you have like from what I could gather, you recognize awareness and you recognize truth and being. What happened? How did you fall into that awareness?
Yes. So I can't believe I would say this, but I would have to give another disclaimer here. A while back, I would hear about people's experiences, and would be hungry to have some kind of experience that I can talk about as my, in quotes, origin story. And even though I could lay claim to one, and I'll probably talk about an experience here, I want to caution anyone out there to not look for it. And I say that because it's kind of a trap. It's unnecessary. I should put it that way. So maybe I will start with a story and I'll explain why I'm saying all of this. There was a day, and I write this, I think somewhere in the last chapter of my last book. I was taking a walk with my dog, and then suddenly I just realized, oh shit, there's nobody inside here. Oh, there's nobody inside anybody. And I'm like, it's so clear that everything is empty and nothing is doing anything, but also weird to have that realization, to say there's nobody here. Then who's saying nobody is here? And it just became so clear that what's happening, if the perspective of my seeing, it's not even owned by me, or there's no me to own it, or it's just so weird. So I mean, I had that experience. It was a very very clear, distinct experience that made me, of course, see things totally different. And in some ways that changed how I interacted with how the individual interacted with life. But I realized it's an experience. All experiences start and stop. So there's going to be the moment of doubt. There's going to be the, what was that? Was that really true? And all of that. And I realized all those things, it's just a total distraction from what is clearly happening. And it's the same thing with how I see our searching. I think spiritual seeking, spiritual search is a waste of time. However, we have to get on the path to realize it's a waste of time because what we are looking for, we are distracted by what is actually happening by looking. So books, I have loads of books. I've read it. If name it, I've read it. Teachers, I've listened to them all. But the act of listening, the act of reading, all of that was distracting from the experiment of actually opening your eyes to what's going on. Yeah.
If I is this too far, is it too far out there for me to assume that you don't actually believe in free will?
Um, I could talk about this for for a year nonstop.
That's why I made the show.
um, I think just talking about distraction again, I think the debate about free will or no free will can also be a very it can be a distraction, and it can be a distraction because if we never had the term free will, we wouldn't know what free will we wouldn't be talking about free will, right? But we just have to sit down. It takes just sitting down for a moment to realize you did not choose where you were born. You did not choose your race. You didn't choose your family. You didn't choose your the style of thought patterns that come to your head. So some people are, excitable. Some people are calmer, or they experience calm. Some people experience excitations internally and all of that. You didn't choose any of those. You didn't choose how you see the world. You didn't choose your path. Um, that's like the first, probably second layer of realizing the idea of non-choice. But then you look internally and you realize you've not chosen how your heart beats. You've not chosen how your digestion works. You've not chosen how to stop seeing when your eyes are open. You did not choose how your legs twitch randomly. Then you sit down and say, oh, I have free will. But what is the thing that says I have free will? The one who argues for or not for free will is, what kind of will is that?
See, that's the biggest thing is like people will debate this, but there really is no point.
Exactly. It's pointless. And I say it, we can go back and forth and I'm still going to, go take a shit. I didn't I mean, the urge came and I went to the bathroom. you know.
So I'm curious, your upbringing, you said you were raised in kind of a Christian upbringing. That's kind of the language. What you're describing is beyond language. It's the best way I can describe what this experience is it's a yogic state of awareness. It's a unified relationship with what is, and the character appears and disappears, isness, thusness, whatever. It's all, everything's always just happening, and it seems like there's some form of duality in the non-dual experience of being. That there's a me, then I'm not, and then there is, and then I'm not. It's like an inhale and an exhale. So I'm curious with you, once you started seeing beyond the veil of normally we think of an objective reality and a subjective reality. Then you start to see that your subjective reality are objects in the field of consciousness also. So how have you integrated your seeing into your actual practical life? Was there a process there? Were you able to talk with people once you woke up to this awareness? Could you talk a little bit about that?
I would say, well, that obviously, I feel like for all of us, we will have our different stages and phases, and they will continue to happen. I, of course, one of the first things that would happen is wanting everybody to know this truth, argue with people, want to share this idea. For me, I grew up Christian, and one of the first things that I would do is talk about how Christianity is is total nonsense, and you have to be able to see the truth. Religion is just pure nonsense, and all of that. And I realized what I was doing was creating yet another form of division. The if I would use if I'll use an analogy, one of the more popular analogy in these discussions is the dream. Within the dream, there's activity happening. Within the dream, there seems to be division of the objects, and oftentimes the subject is perceiving the objects, and the objects have their different forms of existence, or seeming form of existence, and their characteristics and their groupings and things like that. How is that not different than what we have here, with different people having their different practices and their different belief systems and their different modes of operation? I just realized, well, initially I used to, want people to wake up or whatever. And then it's like, oh, wait, how can the character in the dream be talking about waking up to other characters when we are all dreaming? Like, who is it that wakes up? So it's in essence, it's I feel like awakening, and I don't claim to, I don't even know what the word awakening is, but that's another thing. I mean, within the context of this conversation, I would say that awakening then is could then be seen as, or my relationship to the world practically could just then be seen as the pure and utter mystery. I don't know what the heck is going on. that's just the truth. So I can't I can't I can't necessarily pull people back and forth, if that makes sense. So I would say that for me, the stages had been trying to convince people, trying to show people this truth or whatever, and then realizing that doesn't even make any sense, to realizing, oh wait, all of this is just weirdness. I call it weirdness. It's just weirdness. There's nothing to do.
100%. I had the same experience, and I kind of learned. It's like you don't wake somebody up while they're sleeping. It's rude, It's.
Yep. It can't even. It doesn't even really happen, or you can't even do it. And who would have to wake somebody up?
Whoever was doing it needed to wake up. Infinity
Yeah.
until. So I had another question that came to mind, and it left me. Oh, God. Do you interact with an imagined entity or an ultimate power, or do you have a relationship with the divine for yourself?
Yes. So, oh, the topics of non-duality. The answer is yes and no. And the yes part is, um, it's such a beautiful experience to be in relationship with God, and what that to a dualistic mind is that I have a relationship. I have a relationship to God. To the non-dual mind, you realize that a relationship signifies that there's a separation. But what if I realize that all of experience is myself? Then the seeming me has a relationship to all that is, which all that is, I can give that the cloak of God. So my interaction with you, my interaction with the world, my interaction with when I wash my dishes and plates, and when I do my laundry, is my interaction with God. And so it's there can be division is, I used to hear this a long time ago, like, oh, there's no separation. I'm like, separation from what? I used to hear, oh, you're one with the divine. It's like you're one with, but there's literally no breakage anywhere. there's there's nothing. So if I talk about my relationship to God, I'm really talking about, in essence, I'm talking about the weirdness of experience. It's all weird, and that we're talking about this is freaking weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's that I love how you. I love. I mean, this is what we're doing is basically poetry. We're talking about the ineffable, and
Absolutely.
you put to words the experience in a way that I never or I haven't been able to. Because God is you. Like you framed it out. Like you need to use like all your limbs to describe this thing, because there's three things happening and two things under an umbrella of three things. There's just so much going on that you can't. It's absurd. Like it's
Yeah. Oh, one beautiful analogy that usually comes to mind is when the body, when the finger suddenly realizes, oh shit, I am the body. First of all, it starts to tell each of them, like, guys, I am the body. And then the others are like, shut up, you're a freaking finger. Right? And then suddenly the finger realizes, oh no, I'm actually the body, in such a way that the body does not exist without the finger, and the finger doesn't exist without the body. So there's no separation. This is the body and the finger. It's everything.
do you ever encounter anybody in your day-to-day life that you end up having conversations like this with, or
No.
never?
No.
So where does your energy go when you start? I mean, you write, you're an author. Does it
Yeah.
manifest as writing, or?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's. I have a Substack. I used to write twice a week, but now just once a week. Yeah.
So can you describe that for me? Like, what does that feel like, getting pulled to create?
um, Very challenging to describe, but so creativity, the way I see it right now, creativity comes from, oftentimes, well, at least for me, it comes from the spontaneity of a mind that is at rest. Um, and so for me, all expressions, all a lot of my expressions, not all, a lot of my expressions come from that position of rest. So I no longer, even with this, I find that the move and the pull into different things, whether it's commenting on your TikTok, whether doom scrolling, whether being here, all of this seems to be by using Christian language, by grace. So when the urge, or when the nudging to, and it sounds weird when it says, it's like when I say the urge, it's almost like I'm not doing anything, and then an urge comes, I'm like, oh, that's the urge. It's kind of not like that. It's like that I'm being moved. I've always been moved. I don't know what I was when I was a baby, but I can guess that when I was held in my mom's arm, I was probably moved to leaning closer to her nipples. That same urge is what I see being expressed when I write, or I do music, or I paint, or the myriads of artistic expressions that I do.
Did you have a loving upbringing, unconditional love? Were you surrounded by a community?
Well, Yes, for someone who grew up in Nigeria, yes, I was surrounded by community. Unconditional love, I don't think I would not put it as that. I don't think most people in this world have ever really experienced unconditional love from parents and from society. That's something that we we have to. It's very rare for anyone to have. Well, that's my position, my current position.
Sure. Yeah, that's why I was curious about your upbringing. Because I've had this thought, like I've wondered. Sometimes I wonder why I am the way I am, and because I was just thinking while you were talking about the chemistry and the biology of my own conditioning of this body mind, and it seems like, I was brought up what I would refer to as an unconditional loving environment. I just felt loved, like my whole childhood, and in that sense, it's made me there haven't been very many trauma or troubling wirings in my mind and body that I have to karmically untie. Um, that's why I was curious because yeah, for the way my mind works is I'm always trying to figure out what the heck is going on and whether or not it could be distilled in a way to be helpful to somebody.
Yeah, the one thing I think about though um when I try to psychoanalyze and try to go back to root causes and understand why an experience is an experience is I think about there's a tree in my backyard, a really big tree. And by the way, I talk and write a lot about nature because I just see so much coherence between nature and our experience. But here's the thing with the tree. It has loads of branches and everything, and one branch is blowing in the wind, another is, there a little stiff. And the one that's blowing in the wind is like, hey guys, you all need to do more yoga so that you can be as flexible as I. And the one branch is like, man, must be nice to be young. I'm here stiff. Another is like, yeah, I want to be like you. I want to, try to dance like you, to be as flexible as you. And the other one is like, man, I I was born, I was born ready to dance in the way, to dance this way. And the wind is just there, just minding its business. And uh, the branch is thinking that it's the one doing anything when the wind is actually the one blowing everything, you know. And so if there was no wind, there would not be any movement. But then the branch claims that it's doing something when it's not doing jack, you know. Um, it, or the stiff branch that's wondering why I'm stiff, and this is like, it's like sitting there thinking, man, I wish I could do that. Has totally forgotten that that one isn't doing that. Flexible branch is not doing anything, just the way it's not doing anything. So the question then is always goes. I always go back to the question: is anybody doing anything? Can anything can we truly and confidently point to a root cause, or do we get to a root cause and we dig deeper and realize that's actually not the root cause, and then it becomes a inception like situation, right? So I realized a lot of our analysis is done by the mind, and the mind is a very interesting instrument. The instrument of mind is about starts, stops, beginning, and ends. So anything that tries to go to the beginning is most likely the mind. Anything that wants to see something to the end, to finish, is also the mind. So not to say the mind is, I used to think the mind was this, we need to get rid of the mind or whatever. It's like, no, it's a tool. That's what it tries to do. But when we realize that, when we stop the back and forth and realize that the only thing that's truly the only thing that's an expression, a true expression, is this, and we don't even know what it is. I can more or less be more engaged in this than this. Yeah.
That's great. I get kind of when I get kind of stoned when I hear like when you're talking like this. It just reminds me of you said we don't, a disclaimer before the show, we don't claim to know anything that's true or not, but what you just described reminds me of what's true, and it's great because it relieves me of the mental state. It relieves me of the for that split moment in time, I'm relieved by the conditioning of this psychosocial system that is my body,
Yeah, it's no wonder every practice, every practice, everything that we find to be healing, or we find to be to bring some form of happiness, has to do with getting lost in our current experience, and not in the tussle between back and forth. So if you think about yoga, asanas, why do people go to yoga class and all of that? Because you're there, experiencing what it is like for you to stretch, and for your blood to circulate, for you to be in the body. Right? When we sit down and listen to music, we're bringing ourselves, we're noticing how the waves are interacting with our mind and our bodies. Right? Everything still points back to how we are with the body. Yeah.
Well, why aren't there churches that talk about stuff like this? Why isn't there an organization? Like, why do we have to go read stories? Why do we have to? I don't understand. Like, if it's so great hearing you talk, it's like if I could sit in like a sermon like this, I would be at church every Sunday.
Yeah, I think we're too, the mind is very addicting. Well, the mind is addicting to itself, so it consumes itself. So most of our practices, or our going to church, and a lot of religious outfits are there to entertain the mind. That's it.
What I mean, the question comes, like, what is the mind? Like, what is that? What is this thing that's gripping at the past and gripping towards the future? Like if you notice,
Yeah.
can you notice it in your experience when you're like I really want to see this person, or, oh, I really wish I had, can you notice that grippiness that takes you out of the moment?
Yeah, of course. But to answer your question, what is the mind? I don't know.
How do you navigate with that I'll call it a muscle. I don't know what it is. I don't want to use the word ego because it's not a personality. It's this thing that's trying to grab hold of something for itself.
Yeah, I think one thing is, I don't know if that process, I would not necessarily put that process as a thing that's good or bad. It's just a noticing that it's happening. I think just even the act of noticing is its own superpower. So yes, I could have the urge to reach out to someone. Have I even noticed that urge? Right? Just noticing it is really the superpower. But then again, and this goes back to one of my ultimate fascinations. It's with thoughts. I cannot say that I know what the mind is, or if there's even a mind at all, but we can all, without arguing, say that they're thoughts, right? And thoughts are, I think, the tension and the pool of thoughts is usually a pool. The tension we experience within thought streams is usually perpetrated by the thing that says I, or me, is the thought. So I'm drawn to talk to someone, or to reach out to someone, or something like that, right? The strength of that pull, sometimes I notice it's a pull to I need to call that person. Meanwhile, or I need to reach out to that person. But what is that I? So when I realized the distinction between just a draw and an I feel like that difference, being able to see what's going on under the stream, it makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, it shows you where you're acting as an agent separate from.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, it's so curious because like it doesn't. I just I'll fall into the dream of the person, aware that I'm in the dream of a person, having to play out the dream of a person. It's so
Yep.
weird.
Yep. Yeah, and it's still part of the what I would call the glorious dance.
that is that is.
Yeah.
So I took some notes. I want to ask you some stuff. So where did the idea, was it your first book, is glorious this glorious dance, thoughts and contemplations about who we are? Was that your first book?
No, that's my fifth. I think it's my fifth book. I think it is. Yeah, but the others were more. One was on self-development, and the others were poetry. Yeah, but this is my first contemplative book.
When you wrote the first book, had you been privy to this level of experiential
No,
awareness?
no,
Okay.
no.
And then along the way, you did some poetry, and then this book came into being. Where did
Yeah.
where did it come from? Like,
Well, this so as I write in this glorious dance, the it's so obvious, and it's so beautiful to see the pull between right and wrong, good or bad, nonsense and not nonsense, truth and not non-truth, um, hate and not hate, death and aliveness. It's our experience is made up of that. I want this, I don't want this. I like this, I don't like this. I hate these people, I don't hate these people. Um, a lot of our experience is tainted with what I now call the the sickness of eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And while we while we sometimes want to talk about non-duality, is this seeing that they're not two and all of that, non-duality becomes yet another division from duality. And I realized you can't really um there's nothing wrong with the pull between polarities. And when you look at it, when you're comfortable with it, you see that it's kind of like a dance, right? From far away, when you see two people dancing, you think they're fighting, right? You think they're punching. You move closer and you see, oh, it's a waltz. They move in different directions, one leg forward, one leg back. Then there seems to be the holding of the other, and creating of the idea or the symbolism of oneness. It is, in fact, to me, it is in fact so obvious that everything that's happening is the dance of God. So the glorious dance for me is I mean, when I had the idea, it was oh my God, everything is in its right place, every single thing. So what I did with the book was just more of the, oh my God, have you guys noticed this? Oh my God, wow, like this is it. So it wasn't the book isn't a teaching in anything. It's really not a teaching in anything. In fact, I start with talking about, like, see, if a deer knows how to have sex, nobody taught it to have sex. It did not go to sex education. A a toad croaks, and the females are listening there for the one with the juiciest voice. None of this was taught. So why do we ever think that we know anything about anything, or we are controlling anything, or that we have this agenda. What are you doing? Everything is part of the whole, and in fact, everything is the whole. So that's what inspired the book, and I wrote from that vantage point. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, the vantage point of just noticing and seeing what's going on. And the dance is interesting because as we sit here and have this conversation, and I recognize that there is no good or bad, that the mind and perspective makes it so. Like I can engage with you and know this to be true, but the moment I step over there, Melissa asks me if this person was a bad person, a person from history or something. Like, is this a bad guy? I can't, like, I've had those debates in my past and they're energetically draining. It's not even worth talking about, because it's just like, yeah, okay. Yeah. The things he did was bad. Like, this guy hurt millions of people. He's a bad guy.
Yeah. So I like to say that's still part of the divine dance.
that's what I mean when you describe it is, I think what I'm trying to recognize, or I'm trying to point out, is the living and being in this state of awareness, and then completely dropping it and moving into what the world would be considered as a practical experience in the world. And I guess I just wonder, like, how you navigate conversations. Do you drop all this right now and just allow Shay to have opinions about politics, or have opinions about history or the future?
Yeah, I mean, Shay has opinions about these things, but also realizes at the core that none of it matters. And when none of it matters, I mean, to me, it's not even a spiritual or non-spiritual thing, which obviously there's no distinction. But it's that you realize there's nothing personal anywhere. My viewpoints, or my what I call my realizations, and my standpoints, and my views, and my the hats I wear as as an agile coach in my day job, which is obviously different than the child of my mother. All of these are there's not any me that's doing anything. And so if there's no me that's doing anything, then there's no me that's even doing anything of the perceived others. So it's just in some ways, there's just a combobulation of just utter nonsense going on. That's how I like to put it. So whether I catch a glimpse of insight, seeing an interaction between myself and another, or I'm totally lost in the interaction between myself and others, to me, it doesn't matter anymore. And I say this ultimately, we can all debate this. We can live as spiritual as we want. In another 50 years, I'm not going to be alive, or most likely not going to be alive in another 50 years. And in another maybe 20 years after that, nobody would probably remember that I existed. It's like, it's a miracle that anything is happening. So I can't, our sense of wanting to grab and be perfect and be different and be enlightened and all of that, it's a waste of time. So I can just live my life. I'm going to, probably after this, I'm going to drink coffee. I'm going to be on the phone with friends to plan activities for this evening. I'm probably going to, at some point, lay on my couch, turn on my TV, scroll through maybe Hulu, Netflix, and see that there's nothing I'm interested in. Get up. I mean, something, but it's everything that's happening. This is where I go back to language in Christianity. Everything is happening in God as God. So the getting lost is God. The getting found is God. There's just nothing that's not God. So I don't claim, or I can't claim ownership and in fact, even physical property. I say I've never had anything and I've never lost anything. It's not just my experience. It's what I see. Everything that we claim as mine was never yours. It was given. Anything that was taken from you was never you losing anything. It was taken. There's nothing, there's no you to claim anything. That's just the truth.
Oh man. Um. Yeah. There's a question here. I'd like to just say, we've got about 15 minutes left. So if anybody watching has any questions for Shay, go ahead and put them in the chat and I'll ask them. This is just, I'm so glad that we were able to do this.
Same here. I enjoy this.
So here's a question. It says, so his sense of self is just along for the ride. I wonder what makes him get up in the morning.
Yeah, there are so many places I could take this from. There are mornings I do not want to get up because I want to sleep. But the question is, what exactly is doing all of that? That's not me. It's not me that's doing it. Let's put it this way, there are interactions between, let's talk about the body for a second and the mind. The body has its own functionings, right? If I have a good rest, I probably wake up feeling a lot energized. If I had, let's talk about the mind. The mind has a project that it's excited to get to, and I wake up and there's a remembrance of the project. There seems to be an excitation to head to that. So then I get up and say, whoa, I enjoyed getting up this morning. Whoa, I then claim ownership of that experience, but it's not me doing that. It just seems to be happening. So there are going to be moments I'm excited to get up. There are moments I'm not excited to get up. But is it truly me that's excited, who's getting up or not getting up? I've never caused sleep and I've never caused waking up. So why is it me that thinks I'm doing anything? When waking up happens, it happens. So there's not and this is not even me. It's not about me, Shay here. It's the same for everybody. Nobody has ever done anything. Nobody has ever been excited to wake up or not excited to wake up. The getting up in the morning seems to just happen by itself.
Yeah, that's been my experience too, and yeah, it comes and it goes. There was a good stretch of time where I was really into video games, and my first thought in the morning would be like, when can I play computer today? And then eventually that went away, and I would wake up and a lot of times amazed that existence was even a thing. So there was no thought. The thing that I've experienced is the awareness that the challenge and the discomfort that appears in my life as I do things I don't want to do seems to be shaping this organism in a way that is making it more competent and helpful to itself and its environment. So I think parsing through, I think there in the realm of non-duality and the duality inherent in non-duality, there's this opportunity for an individual to look at their lives and look at what they're interested in being or interested in realizing for themselves and the dream of their own life, and then work. And my experience has been working towards that along with the ultimate reality that you, me, my environment, learning and listening. Like that's why like self-development is really challenging, because for me, self-development is more about listening and watching than doing and achieving.
Mm, okay. Yeah, I see that.
I think
Yeah.
the doing and achieving is already it's already here. We've arrived. So there's nothing to really achieve or really do because everything's doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that perspective. Uh, I also see the perspective of, oftentimes when we talk about um, being in any one of our activities, when we're trying to do things for the common good in good faith, um, there needs to also be the consciousness of the fact that you're also doing harm.
Yeah, I
um,
mean, you can't. Yeah, like by not by belief systems and ideas about what would be or could be or should be helpful are completely ridiculous.
yep.
You can never
Yep.
know. Now you can have a thought that says this would be helpful and then do it, but like there's no one that did it. There's no claim to it.
Exactly. So, I mean, I look at when we talk about, renewable energy and using EVs and things like that, which is it's a fantastic thing. It helps the environment. Okay, now the batteries are being made are
Yeah.
causing damage to, to the world. So it's like we have to be able to realize the two sides of the coin. Every coin has two sides. The light also casts darkness.
So Bird asked this question here that I think he did a good job of putting to words what I was trying to say. He says, even the most liberated person have to ask himself, why am I putting effort into anything at all? What does spreading the word achieve for him on a personal level? Is the hope to have people yielding control? So the question is, why put effort into anything at all?
Um,
But I think I could answer it for you, but I'll let you answer it.
yeah. One is I'm not sure. Since we're talking in this language, I'm not sure I'm doing anything. That's one. I don't have any agenda to do anything. I mean, I don't have an agenda to do anything. As a matter of fact, I find that when I do these days, when I do things, I don't have an end goal in mind. I don't have an outcome in mind, because there's nothing that can be. I do not own anything, and I could never own anything. It's just impossible. So what happens? What I experience is the push and pull towards things. Sometimes it feels. I mean, I could be on my way to being on this podcast, and then my house explodes, right? Then that becomes the next thing, the thing that I'll focus on instead of this interview, right? Things seem to happen, but I can't even claim ownership of any of this. I could go back to listen to this recording. I'm like, why did I say that? Like, I don't think that I could have said it differently. It's not me that's doing anything. So I think from a particular perspective, it's just the enjoyment of the experience of being. That's it for me.
So is it like a contextual pool that you enter into when you go from an agile meeting, like an agile work meeting, to yourself in your house to this podcast? Is it like you're transitioning into a different pool?
um, at some point, I would say that had been the case, but right now it's I wouldn't say that I necessarily wear hats. I am I'm myself in every, so I don't think it's just a continuous, to me, like more or less a continuous flow. Yeah.
Can I ask
Yeah.
how many
Yeah.
how many Earth years old are you?
I'm 42.
42. Okay, I'm 38.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Man. So along the way, I guess along the way, I would imagine that when you were becoming hip to this or getting to know yourself in this way, along the way, it was like you would be Shay for a little bit, then you'd remember, and then you'd be Shay, and then you'd remember until the point to where now you're in a continuous state of awareness.
I wouldn't say that there's a continuous state of awareness. No, there's not that. I just think the difference is realizing that I don't need to be in a continuous state. um, it's, I'll use this analogy. You're in a dream and life is happening in the dream, and then suddenly you pause and you're like, wait, what is all this? I remember this house 2 minutes ago was shaped differently. This doesn't feel real. Then you realize, oh, it's a dream. So you're like, oh, it's a dream. Let me craft something. Let me create something out of the dream. So as you're creating something out of the dream, you then forget that it's a dream, right? So over time, you realize, oh, okay, I want to make sure that I remember that it's a dream, right? So that I'm not bothered by the content of the dream. So you're struggling with the push and pull of forgetting or not forgetting. But at some point, you realize, oh, it's all a dream. So let me be the dreamer. Let me be comfortable being the dreamer, because at the end of the day, this is not as real as we think it is. If an alligator is chasing me in this dream, I better run. Or I could stop and fight the alligator. Either way, it doesn't matter, because the dream is the dream. And at some point, we all gloriously wake up. Oh, well, this dreamer wakes up and realizes none of the content of the dream was ever real. So I, who am in the dream and outside of the dream, I also realized the dream characters are also the dreamer, who is also me. So I don't need to create any separation between my dream. Am I dreaming or not dreaming? Am I myself or am I playing the character Shay? I'm always going to play the character Shay. I'm also always going to be the dreamer. There's just the dream, the expression of the dream, the content of the dream, every part of it is the divine. So to me, I'm happy to be lost in the dream.
That's so great. One of the things I started noticing was, on YouTube, I would end up listening to all these teachers like Francis Lucille and Krishnamurti and Vernon Howard, just these people that would show up, and it was almost like I was entering their voice or listening dropped the dream of my life, and I was able to be in this state that you're describing. And that was when it clicked for me that how lucky am I that I don't even have to think about anything you just said, that I can just watch you describe for me what we are. There's no effort and no will required at all.
Yep.
And it's like learning how to, one of the things that's been challenging for me is learning how to be uncomfortable and trust. Just trust that, like, psychologically speaking, things are working themselves out, and I don't need to know what the next moment has to be.
Yeah, and we can't even. I think that ultimately is the practice. As a matter of fact, I said the only thing, if there's anything anybody has to ever do in this journey that we call it, if there's anything to do at all, if there's any practice for myself, for anybody, it's a practice of letting go. And that practice of letting go is realizing that there's no outcome you can own. There's nothing you can do. But just realize that the next moment you don't own it. You can't shape it. It's not yours to control. Nothing. So so in essence, I could I could say something like, "Oh, I want to have a prosperous future. I'm going to save. I'm going to invest, and all the good stuff." Doesn't guarantee that prosperous future, because I could realize next week that I have cancer and I have to spend every single thing that I saved to treat my cancer and die of cancer, right? We don't know anything, right? And so if we don't know anything, we need to fall into the arms of the lover, you know, knowing that we are always carried by it. Yes, there's going to be moments where we doubt. There's going to be moments where we can't see clearly. I think well, at least for me, the comfort is realizing that when I can't see clearly, when I'm in doubt, even that is part of the play.
Beautiful, Shay. Yeah, I thank you so much for
Oh no,
coming
my
on the
pleasure.
show. Yeah, if you found this on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or wherever you found this, have any questions for Shay. I will just start keeping track of them, and when we get enough questions, we'll do this again.
Yeah,
if
please.
you're open to it, if you're open to it.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm always excited to talk about these things.
Yeah, so please, if you have any thoughts or you have had any similar experiences, let us know, and we'll continue the conversation. And Shay, I hope you have a most excellent rest of your day.
Thanks so much, Adam. I'll talk to you later.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Hello. Wasn't that great? I'm trying to make it so I could just do my face here. Oh, I got to end the Google Meet, I think. Hey, Moonside, I saw that you were oh, it's Joe. Hey, Joe. Guys, wasn't that awesome? That was crazy. Dude. I don't know. It was so nice. It was like I was just like, it woke me up. I like it when I can get woken up again like that. It's really fun. I got to figure out how to turn this we were just on a Google Meet. Did it end? Oh, here it is. All right, so I ended it. That way I can turn this on. So we can, there we go. Right? Great energy. And he was talking about the truth. Like, that's the truth. Like, yes, we have to live and we have to move and interact with the world. Like, I'm going to go exercise and my body's going to get all sweaty and I'm going to hang out with Mel. Or I think I'm going to. That's what he was pointing at, is like, no one really knows what the heck is going to happen. Like, that's what I was thinking about this week. I kept thinking, like, I could wake up and be like desperately ill today. Like, the way that sickness appears in our own life, it just shows up. You don't know that you're going to be sick the day before you're sick. So like, you never really know what the heck is going to happen. And talking to Shay, it like brought me back into that unknowing awareness of the unknowing of being, which is, it's miraculous. Like, it's way better to be there and then be in this rather than what I think is going to happen. It's laughable. Oh yeah. Okay. So I'm seeing your guys talk, Bird, Moonside. Yeah. I don't know what happened. Double is Moonside. Moonside Cafe is Double. There's a HighLifer.co. That might not be his website. I think he's on TikTok as the Light of Consciousness, but I don't think I found his website. Let me go to his page real quick. It's like I was telling him, having these conversations makes me kind of stoned. So like I go to my phone and I'm like, I don't know how to operate this thing. I literally don't know how the heck to operate it. But yeah, I don't know what HighLifer.co is. I titled this stream as his TikTok handle. But yeah, no, it was just great. But yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to that again. Really. But also, like, I'm not, because there's no forward to. Anyway, I'm just going to keep Googling and giggling over here. So I'm going to let you guys go. Let's all have a great rest of our days. Double Joe. I opened up the episode today with a couple songs that I think that I would recommend that are pretty good. One is called Gunship by Tech Noir. That's the one. I really like that song. Birdbanes, me not in particular, just love hearing your thoughts and you make a great guest. Yeah, Bird. I don't know if you said you had a mic or didn't have a mic. Oh yeah, that is. Yeah, you're a typer. If you ever do get a mic or anything, Bird, I'd love to hear your story too. I agree with Joe. It'd be great to have you on too. We could just talk about what it's like to exist as entities living and moving through a seemingly experience of time and space. But yeah, I gotta go. I gotta get ready. I gotta go pee. I gotta get dressed. Love you guys. I'll hit y'all up later, or hit me up on the Discord later, and we'll keep the show rolling. We'll keep it going. Yeah. See you next week, Bird. There is a Discord. Oh, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do the exclamation Discord. But maybe I can just put it in the chat. Hold on. I can. There's a great guy on the Discord named Matek. He leaves audios in here that are just, if you ever wonder what's going on, just listen to his audios. Let's see. I'm going to go to new arrivals or share it. Oh, wait. Oh, there you are. You're in. Did that work? Did putting exclamation mark Discord give you the Discord link? Okay. All right. All right, gentlemen. I will see y'all later. Have a good Saturday.